I could not be more excited. We got a great Shelley Meyer story coming up at the top of the hour, too. I did not get to check out Sawyer Brown down in Portsmouth this weekend. No, I did not, but I do have the next best thing. Jeremy Duff in studio right now from Rogue Gaming and GamingNexus.com. How are you, kind sir?
I'm good.
Man.
You were out of town this weekend, weren't you?
Where'd you head to?
Well, I came back. Last week I was in Albany, New York.
Yeah, I used to work in Albany, New York.
Yeah, I was visiting Vicarious Visions, the makers of the new Skylanders game. So
nice.
Wow.
Went up and hung out at the studio for a day and got to mess around with the upcoming game. And
did you see the Egg downtown?
No,
there's
didn't do too much.
There's this theater that they have downtown in Albany, New York. It's called the Egg, and it's like shaped like an egg. And you go, they have like concerts in there and stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It is. It's a neat little city. You know, if you've never been there before, it is a neat little city. Did I get you back? I'm sorry.
Yes,
I
your
did the headphone
knees
thing
knock
again.
all our controls off all the time.
I got like all the headphone control over here, and now with the wait, did I knock you out completely?
You knocked us both.
There we go.
There, okay,
just forgive me. Just it's not on purpose, okay? It's these new seats that are extremely comfortable, but they have like these handles on the sides,
No,
like
it's
these
like your knees
armrests.
have hands or something.
No, it's not my knees. It's the armrests. And they,
is that right?
Anyhow, I digress. Jeremy Duff. So you're in Albany, New York over here, and you're checking out these new gaming studios. Now, what are they showing you? Like new games?
Yeah, this was the new Skylanders Superchargers that I went to visit.
And Skylanders are those little action figures?
Yes, that's the number one
Jaden has those,
place to life.
Yeah, he was into that for a little while.
On Wii. He was on it, yeah. Not anymore.
But yeah,
He's like a Call of Duty person now. I'm like, what?
It looks pretty good. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. They're going with more of the racing aspect this time. So
they'll still have the action figures?
Yep, still use all the old figures. They have new ones, but they are also adding vehicles now.
And now what is it? Like these guys like each have attributes, kind of like D&D or what?
Well, yeah, they have different elements. Like you have some that are more water-powered, some are fire-powered, and depending on where you're at in the world, some are more effective than others. But like I said, now the big focus is they're releasing vehicles. That you have to buy the figures for the vehicles now, but they're actually toys you can play with. So the cars roll, all the planes and stuff, all the propellers move. They're actually more playable toys instead of just figures that just sit there. You can actually take them off and play with them.
Like out of the video game world, you can play them like in the real world. In a world where you can play with your video games in real life. It'd be cool. They should make a squad of just the Ohio State Buckeyes. Can you imagine?
It looked like a video game last night.
Yeah, man. It was awesome. So what can we what's up with EA Sports and new games that they have coming out for the NCAA?
Like I said, we talked about that a couple weeks ago. NCAA is kind of a no-touch zone right now because they're still undergoing this big lawsuit over the likenesses of college players in video games. So they kind of stopped making the NCAA games a few years ago.
EA Sports.
Yeah.
The Madden stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they do the Madden, but not college.
That's
for pro.
Okay.
But supposedly there's the rumors that they're going to begin incorporating some of the college licenses into the pro games as kind of like when you create your own character, you build them up from the college ranks. Mm-hmm. But those would just be the generic, all the players would be player 12, player 10.
I just don't understand, man. If you are a player and you're really good, right? Mm-hmm. And you are good enough to be a playable character in a video game, and you can't somehow take in revenue from that, it's ridiculous.
They don't use your name.
Right, they don't use your name, but I mean, there's a point when you have to concede to this whole, like, we can't pay college athletes thing. You know, like, you have to concede and say, well, you know what? You're amazing, and people want to play you as a video game, so if that's true, we're going to have to compensate you at some point.
Think about the
somehow,
mascots.
you know?
The mascots don't get paid anything, do they? And they have to sweat their butts off, and they actually can play the whole mascot as a team. Can't you play all the mascots together? They have it worse than the players.
That'd be really funny if Brutus is like balling on campus.
No, and
driving like a brand new Phantom, you know what I
right,
mean? He's
but
like,
only when he has the mask.
Character, dog.
Only when he has the mask on. Can you imagine? He's a no-name when he walks around campus.
Yeah. There's a couple different Brutuses from what I understand. But, God, can you imagine the amount of play that those guys get?
I'd just wear the mask all the time. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we had
I bet there are people that go through, like, when they graduate, like, senior year, they go through, like, Brutus withdrawal. Like, if you are Brutus, because think about it. You go to every party, and you are the life of you're Brutus. Who doesn't want to be around you?
Right.
In Columbus. I mean, like, you know, maybe not in Ann Arbor, but in Columbus, everyone wants to be around you. Then you go out, and you got to go work at you know, Staples. It's not the sexy same flavor, man.
Are you understanding that every time he takes the freaking costume off, he's back to who he is. No one knows him.
Some
yes, it
chicks
does.
are into that.
Loper, no one knows him.
Okay, we had a sales guy here who was Brutus for 4 years at Ohio State. He was Brutus.
By the way, all 4 years, top sales guy.
Well, here's the thing. He said he had been with a couple girls. They were freaks, and they wanted him to
wear
keep
the mask.
the head on. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. We're going to talk about Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain. That's coming out for the PC, PS3, PS4, 360, Xbox One.
Hey, this is Sergeant Frank Woods from Call of Duty Black Ops 1 and 2. You're listening to Loper and Randy in the morning, kicking ass, taking names.
Love that guy. I just look more legit in Jeremy's eyes. Games I do adore. Like, yeah, bro, that's what I do on the weekend. Me, Frank Woods, Frankie Hayduke. Just chilling, man. It's Loper and Randy in the morning, by the way. It's 6:48. Jeremy Duff from Rogue Gaming and GamingNexus.com is in the house. And there's new Mario news, right?
Yes, there's a big new Mario game this week.
What?
And it's basically make your own Mario.
Make your own Mario.
So,
Potato
they
head
give you
Mario?
like these little that you make the actual games. They give you the little template with all the different enemies and blocks and pieces, and using the Wii U pad, you drag them in and make your own levels. And you basically make your own Mario levels, and you can share them with people online.
That's cool.
And so it's like endless Mario.
It's kind of like put like a tube here.
Yep, you can put a tube here, make it big. You can drag enemies into it if you want an
And
enemy
this is
to
not
pop out of
for
it.
this is not for old school Wii anymore. It has
It's
to
for
be
Wii U.
See,
So I could go
they're
on,
not
like-
getting any more of my money.
But I could like design like a whole board for Randy.
Yes.
Yeah, but we don't have
Yep.
Wii U because
Absolutely.
we're not gonna buy that.
Mushroom behind this door. And
Koopa Troopa over here.
And that's what people have done. You know, they've written out names and personalized them. And
Oh, that's
some
cool.
people have made ridiculously difficult ones, and it's pretty good. It's really pretty good.
That is cool, man. So a couple of the other games that you came to talk about today, some big titles are out, like Tearaway Unfolded for PlayStation 4.
Tearaway is one of those games that I absolutely love, but probably won't get the love it deserves.
What's the game about?
It came out a couple years ago on the Vita, and it's basically like a papercraft world come to life. Everything's paper. It's like a pop-up book that's come to life.
It was like
that's cool.
Paper Mario.
Even more so.
Even more
It's
so,
more than just the visual style. It's how you interact with the world in terms of peeling paper away, folding. I'm curious to see how it plays on the PS4 because it focused a lot on the touch panel of the Vita. So you would do the rolling of you would roll out paper or
The
scratch
Vita is the
paper.
portable handheld PlayStation.
Yeah.
So it's like a Game Boy, but it's PlayStation.
Is that still selling pretty well? Is that like a big item for them?
It is. They're struggling to find out how to pitch it really because
It's got to be weird in the world of cell phones right now, like where the iPhone is so badass, and some of these other phones that are Android related that are so badass.
It is. When they first came out with it, they pushed it where it actually had cellular signal support, where you didn't need Wi-Fi. It could
Gotcha.
get 3G connections, but they ended up dumping that after a year and just offering Wi-Fi versions. So I don't think that was as popular as they hoped. But the problem with the Vita is they just don't get enough games. Everything they get are the smaller indie titles. The bigger companies don't really put out a lot of the titles for it. So
And what about Metal Gear Solid 5?
that was actually out last year, and this is one of the contenders for Game of the Year. It's
Really?
Possibly the last big Metal Gear
Now,
game.
Metal Gear's like one of those big war games, right?
Yes, this dates back to the 80s on the original Nintendo, dating way back. And it's more of a tactical espionage. I mean, it's not like all-out gunfights. It's you're sneaking around, hitting people with tranquilizer darts, dragging their bodies in the closets and hiding them.
Oh, really?
And, I mean, you can kind of play it any way you want. You can go in guns a-blazing, but the fun of it is sneaking around and...
at Loper's house, they call that Friday night.
Yeah, exactly, man. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Any word on Tekken 7?
It's coming, but they're still just kind of slowly revealing characters. It's going to hit arcades first, so you're probably looking at...
Whoa, it's going to hit arcades first, like a real arcade game?
No, the arcades are still popular in Japan, and that's from Namco, which
They're
is a
really
big
cool to
Japanese
go
company.
to over there. OMG, like out of a movie.
Yeah,
like
they're
there's
huge.
When I was in Great Britain, actually, there was this huge
Oh, yes.
There was a three-story-
When Randy's ever visiting us over here.
Sonic the
over
Hedgehog.
pond, yes.
They have. It's still a huge market over there, unlike here.
Oh my god, you'd ride the escalators up to the next level of this Sonic the Hedgehog
Oh,
thing.
the
it was
sound,
yes,
Hedgehog.
yes,
Hedgehog.
that's what I
can't
called
even say it. It was so
mine,
cool.
Touch my Sonic the Hedgehog, yes. It's
That's
two
cool.
things together. It's a and a hog.
Okay, what about the Oculus Rift? I'm looking at this right now, and they said they're going to be taking orders. We talk about this a lot.
This is such a CT's, man.
I want it so bad.
This
Did
is
Facebook
like,
buy
it's
it?
coming,
Yes,
it's coming.
Facebook owns it.
Facebook owns it. Do you guys get that? They think it's going to be a communication platform, and I'm like, I want it to be a gaming platform.
Well, Oculus Rift is like this full-on, completely interactive virtual reality.
No, it's
Yes,
like the
it's a
same
headset.
boxing, though.
Yeah, it's kind of like what I had. I had the cheap kind of demo version of it.
Right.
The problem is there's multiple versions. This is what scares me about VR. It's very cool, but there's multiple versions. I think Oculus has the best chance of succeeding.
Yeah.
Because of that Facebook backing. And kind of their whole goal in buying it is they wanted to make it ensure that it's affordable and something that is attainable by the general public. Because right now they're expensive. You can go on and order the Oculus now, a developer's kit version. They're available for the public for like $350. But you're just not going to get a lot of software and games and stuff for it yet. And it could change.
Okay, let's ask like the real questions. How long until they have the virtual sex on there?
They already do.
Wait, on Oculus Rift you can have like virtual sex? Can you hook up like a flashlight? Does it get like really crazy?
I'm sure people do. I'm not 100% sure, but I would imagine people
somebody down in somewhere in the middle of Columbus somewhere. I'm not even going to say a street because I know where you are, I bet. And you're down there with your huge tower computers all linked into your Oculus Rift in your basement. Oh, and then you see out of a glancing eye that fleshlight, and you reach for it, and you know the promised land is close.
And then a digital humping gay Black Widow walks on.
Yeah, because you know what? You're God's chosen people at that point, man.
Here's what's so cool. The Oculus CEO has mentioned that virtual tourism. Can you imagine getting an entire class with these on? You go tour the Great Wall of China all together. That's amazing. Real-time cinema experiences, education. I mean, it's amazing. The Smithsonian Institution has more than 130 million items. You could be scanned and put into a virtual reality environment.
There's a lot of opportunities.
Maybe the Hawaii football team ought to look into that next week instead of coming here and getting their ass whipped. Just do it in virtual reality. It'll hurt a lot less. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeremy Duff from Gaming Nexus and Rogue Gaming. Another great segment. Thanks a lot, man. You can follow Jeremy on Twitter. And how can they do that, man? What's your handle?
At Duff3C.
My man, Jeremy Duff, ladies and gentlemen. It's all brought to you by our friends over at Mountain Dew.
Games I do adore.